This is John for Global Women's Sports Radio. Today I'm on the beat. I have a very special guest. I have golfer Brittany Fan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Are you in Hawaii right now?
Yep. I'm based out of Hawaii and Arizona, but I am back here for the holidays, and I've been here for the last 4.5 months or so, just because, the whole COVID situation and whatnot. But can't complain, right? It's paradise.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I'm very jealous because I'm in Chicago and it's about 28 degrees here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm very jealous. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's get down to the fun stuff. So when did you get interested in golfing?
I started at the age of 12, which is definitely a little late to the sport for sure. I mean, I know a lot of people start at maybe like 6 or 7. So I pretty much started off when I went with my father to go pick up my brother from practice. And I was just fooling around on the driving range, and this coach walked over and just decided to give me a pointer. And all of a sudden I just started hitting it, just woo, like amazing. And if you've ever seen a child's eyes light up, that's kind of what happened. And then I was pretty much hooked from there. But before that, it was completely opposite. It was singing, dancing. I wanted to go try out for Disney Channel, just totally nothing sport related, or especially golf.
So when did you know that you were really good or could be really good?
The first thing that happened was just the passion and the healthy obsession with the sport at 12. And then I think, as I found out, when I started practicing more and I started progressing, at a rapid pace, and then, I started working with coaches and all this kind of stuff. And I could see that, oh my gosh, this is fun. This is what I want to do. I think it's more of a mindset. And then, it goes along with the hard work. As you work harder with the passion, then you start to get better. But I mean, I think somewhere around high school is when I thought, this is, oh yeah, I'm getting up there.
So did you have any golfing role models or idols back then or at all throughout your early, I know it's a young career, but are there any golf idols out there for you?
Yeah. So one person that I really looked up to was Annika Sorenstam, because she also started late. And, that kind of just showed to me, oh, just because you start late doesn't mean you can't be good. So, I mean, yes, you have to probably work twice as hard or harder than other players, but you can do it. And then, of course, I would love to watch scenes of like Tiger Woods winning. You just get those goosebumps and stuff that happen. But yeah, Annika for sure was the person I looked up to.
And you were born in Hawaii, you're a Hawaii native. How did you choose the University of Colorado?
That's funny. I get that question a lot. So I was fortunate enough to have a lot of options to choose from, but what it really came down to was, I did my research on the team, I did my research on the coaches, I looked at the dynamic and kind of how they work. Everybody offers, great classes, a great campus, but it came down to the coaches. And I mean, I'm happy with the choice I made. I had a great experience. I got along with the coaches really well. They have a lot of experience. So, I mean, Colorado was great. Yeah. And it's 300 days of sunshine, despite, people thinking that it's freezing cold. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I have nothing against Colorado. I have some relatives out there. I love Colorado, but if I'm talking Hawaii versus Colorado,
yeah, I like the cold weather too, so that probably helps.
So is there a major difference in golfing on the mainland or any place in the U.S. versus Hawaii? Because like in terms of conditions and everything.
Yes, absolutely. So that's another thing that I learned after going to Colorado due to the altitude difference. So typically courses here in Hawaii, you're playing at sea level, so the ball's going to go shorter. And, wind here affects the ball a lot more than on the mainland, in my opinion. And then also, because it's just a lot humid, wetter kind of conditions, a lot of them are resort styled, and the balls tend to be softer. Whereas if I were to go to Arizona, for example, everything's dry and everything's firm and it rolls out, you have to play for the release. And then, of course, a little bit of altitude change. So, I mean, I think it's just that goes with experience, just learning, I mean, when I get to a place, I usually Google, I Google the humidity, I Google the altitude just to help me figure out. And then usually during the practice round, you kind of figure out your yardages. But yeah, that was definitely comes with experience for sure.
Now, do you think the conditions in Hawaii, do you think that has helped you, accept that, other challenges in other golf courses, other areas of where you golf?
Yes. I mean, I don't think you can find every single condition here, but I do try to play, I have my home base course that I practice at, and I do try to play a different course once a week because, I want to find some tighter courses off the tee. I want to find maybe some courses with more undulation, or maybe this course has a lot of water. I think in terms of wind and I guess changing grasses, it's good here. But like I said, you can't really find everything. You're not going to find kind of like an old style Pinehurst kind of course here. So I think for that kind of thing, you need to fly out and play some tournaments, or you maybe, practice in a different area. But Hawaii offers a great variety.
Oh, I'm no doubt. So
Yeah.
could you walk us through a little bit? What would your average workout routine? Not necessarily golfing, but just
Right.
your body conditioning.
So golf is one of those interesting sports where, fitness is still a little new, and everyone's kind of getting into it now, or maybe they did a couple of years ago. For me, I think it's important to do golf fitness mixed with general athleticism, just because, golf specific workouts, they tend to focus on like you need to have a strong core, rotational power, and all that kind of stuff. But you also need general athleticism in terms of, when it comes to like endurance or power moves. So for me, I work with a trainer 2 to 3 times a week, and what we work on is more fast muscle movements and more golf specific things. And then on the other days, I will go in and do like the general athletic stuff, whether that be some toning, some sprints, some light cardio, that kind of stuff. And of course, yoga. You need to stay flexible for sure.
Sure. That
Yeah.
makes total sense. What
So,
has been your biggest challenge so far in golfing?
golfing. Do you want as like an amateur or as a professional, or kind of just a combination of both?
How about both? Yes.
Both. Okay. Well, let's see. I think the biggest challenge is you go to a golf tournament and your goal is to win the tournament, but I think a lot of people don't work on the mental aspect of it. Because if you look at it, a lot of players, once you get to a certain point, we're all pretty good, when it's in terms of skill level, hitting the ball, no problem. Short game, obviously, some people are a little bit sharper. But I think the biggest thing is mindset. And it's just, before you go into a tournament, I think you need to see it happening before it happens. You need to believe that you can do it. And regardless of what happens, you need to stay positive and stay focused on the goal. And I think the biggest challenge is, I think, believing that you can do it, especially when you have a tough field. It's easy to have a bad shot or a bad hole, and you kind of start freaking out a little bit, and you're like, oh no, like there goes the tournament, or here goes my round. But I think I've learned in the last couple of years, especially, mindset plays a huge role in how you react to your shots or to a round. Your bounce back ability makes a huge difference. So, it's always something to improve on, but I think that's probably the biggest challenge for sure.
You brought up your competition or any competition in a tournament. Do you, when you're preparing for a tournament, do you prepare against individuals, or is it kind of you against yourself, you against the golf course? Do the other individuals come into play at all in your mindset?
For me, they do not, because regardless of where you go, the competition is going to be strong, and there's always going to be someone that you have to beat. And golf is one of those sports where, again, once you get to a certain point, most of it is in your head. So I think it's important to play the course, have a good strategy, stick to your plan, and kind of just go from there. Because when you start focusing on your competitor, I think that's when you kind of lose it. You're like, oh, I got to hit the ball further. Oh, I got to make a birdie and all this kind of stuff. When it's like, not really. If you think about it, it's just you versus the par 72 course. Your goal is to do the best that you can do, regardless of what your competitor does. There's always going to be somebody that shoots a low round. So,
True.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about who your role model was. How do you feel, or how does it feel for you to know that you're the role model for a lot of younger and maybe even older, golfers?
That's just an amazing feeling. That's probably one of the things that keeps me going, especially when things get tough. It's just to give other players, regardless of the age, the idea that it's possible, or that, with hard work, things can be accomplished. And it's not saying, like, I'm one of the players that likes to keep it real, because I don't like it when people say, yeah, it was such a easy to get there. Everything is glamorous. It's really not. And I think it's important to keep it real. And it's important for people to understand, it's not A to B. They may show it as A to B, and nobody shows what's in between. But I try to be real and respond to people when I can and just, show them the good and the bad. But I mean, it feels great. I love to see, for me, like, so I volunteered with the first tee in the last couple months when they were out at the club that I practice at. And for me, I like to do it out of pure enjoyment because I like to see them, have fun with the game, have passion for the game without any, pressure from whether it be parents or tournament pressure or anything like that. So, I mean, I just love seeing things like that. And I guess inspiring people, just keeps me going.
Well, how do you feel like when somebody must have, at least the first young person or the first any person that came up to ask for your autograph or a picture with you? Like, how cool was that?
That was very cool. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of went on the side after, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, really yeah, it's just a very cool feeling. Exciting.
Now, I saw an interview with you where you said you love to bake. So, what do you like to bake, or what is your specialty?
Oh man, yeah. I have a bad sweet tooth.
Don't we all?
Yes. It's so hard to resist, and when I bake it, I have to try it. So.
Of course.
My specialty would be chocolate chip cookies, banana bread, and mango bread.
Mango bread.
Yes,
Wow.
it's actually an old recipe from my grandma. I found it in a book from a long time ago, and it has to specifically be Hawaii mangoes when it's in season. But I remember when I tried it for the first time. Amazing.
Well, I love mangoes. Now, what's the difference between a Hawaiian mango and a regular mango?
So if you look at where the mango is made, it has a different taste. Like when I'm on the mainland and I buy mango and I try it, and I think it's like product of Mexico or something, it's a lot more tart.
Oh.
Whereas the mango here has more of like a sweet, it tastes like a mango should taste.
Okay.
That sweeter tropical fruit flavor.
Well, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the lookout for that because I love mango. So if I can get if we can kick the level of a mango up even more, I'll be ecstatic.
Oh yeah,
So,
you won't want to eat the other mangoes after you try this mango.
oh, well, then I don't know if that's a good thing then. I'll ruin all my mangoes.
Yeah.
So aside from baking and obviously golf, what do you like to do in your spare time? If you have any spare time.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy spending time with family and friends. I'm big on doing things. I like to go out and adventure. I really like nature. It just kind of clears my mind, and I just enjoy. I really appreciate the view of things. Whether it be going on a hike or looking at the ocean or whatnot. And then, of course, if I have time to travel, sometimes I'll travel to Boston and see my brother, or I go with a family member and we'll take a trip. I just kind of enjoy the simple things in life, and yeah, anything that has to do with adventure, exploring new things, I'm all about that. Yes, it's nice to stay home and veg every once in a while, but I can only do that for so long.
So I've seen you do a couple of interviews. I've seen you do some promotional stuff for University of Colorado. Is media work in your future at all? Do you plan on doing anything like that? Because I think you'd be awesome at it.
I mean, I haven't given much thought about that yet. I did study advertising business in school, so I think that definitely helped. For my advertising, I did have to do an internship, which was crazy because full-time athlete plus going to school plus an internship. I mean, it was pretty cool just to figure out how everything worked. I do have. See, there's a lot of different possibilities. Like right now, I have my own logo that's trademarked, and some ideas I was brainstorming with my parents down the road is being from Hawaii. I think it's important to remember where you come from and all the support that you've had. So, I mean, one of the ideas was to maybe turn my logo into a foundation, and basically because I know how expensive it is for kids to play golf, let alone travel out of Hawaii to get exposure. Especially if they're trying to play collegiate golf or whatever it be. So, I mean, we were kind of thinking somewhere down the line, like, oh, it could be a foundation where you help offset the cost. And maybe you do some clinics and whatnot. But basically just to give kids the opportunity to play or to get exposure and whatnot. But no, that's funny. I've had that from quite a few people saying the same thing that you said.
No, you'd be really good. You're articulate, you're personable. And I not only in this interview, but I've seen you in other stuff. And you would be a natural at it. You'd be fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
So before I let you go, just a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You're born and raised in Hawaii. You've traveled a little bit to play golf. Where's the coolest place you've ever traveled to, and where would you like to travel to, whether it's golf related or not?
Ooh, okay, that's a hard one. So I've been to international places. You know, I went to London, I went to Paris, Thailand, and Malaysia, of course. You know, it's hard to choose one place. That's my favorite.
Or a
Again,
couple.
because I went to school in Colorado, I really like Colorado.
Okay.
um, it's hard. I like Hawaii too, so I'd bounce back between Hawaii, Colorado, and London will probably be my top three of the places that I've been to. Hawaii, because it's just so diverse and so unique, and I think growing up here is different than growing up on the mainland for sure. The aloha spirit is a real thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I just like how diverse it is and how friendly, and of course the scenery and everything so beautiful here. You can't really beat it anywhere. And then Colorado, again, beautiful with the mountains. I love how everyone is very outdoorsy. The seasons, that's one thing that I don't get here that I love. And then London was just kind of cool. Just a very different, city, just a completely different vibe. But I like to travel, so I have a lot more places to kind of check out and see.
Now, one little silly question before I let you go. As a professional golfer, does any of your friends love to challenge you in mini golf?
They like to challenge me in real golf.
Oh, okay, okay, even
Yeah,
better.
I mean, they're like, let's, we're not going to deal with this mini golf. Let's take it to the course. And it's funny because, my brother played collegiate golf as well, so I challenge him. I have a golfing family, so my parents like to challenge me as well. It's just some fun competition. I've got some friends that, whether they're new to golf or not, they also like to trash talk me, and we play some fun games. But I mean, I enjoy it. It's nice. Golf is one of those sports that you can play your whole life, and you can obviously make good connections through golf. So I mean, yeah.
Well, before I let you go, I certainly appreciate your time, and it's been a lot of fun. I've read a lot about you, and I'm going to be following you now because now I've interviewed you. Where can people find out information about you online? And is there anything you want to promote? Any upcoming golfing appearances? Anything? It's all your show.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on social media. I have a Facebook. It's Brittany Fan. My Instagram is bfan _tastic. So be fantastic is my nickname. I've got a Twitter account too. I don't use it a ton, but I have it. I'd say my main accounts are Facebook and Instagram. But I try to respond to people as much as I can. I'm not like sitting on my phone all day, respond to everything, but I try to. And if I see some people out at tournaments or whatnot, I'm always friendly. I always say hi. But yeah, I mean,
Well, it's been a blast, Brittany. I appreciate your time. I encourage everyone to check out Brittany Fan on social media and check her out on any golf shows, any golf broadcast. And I'm going to encourage the Hawaiian Tourism Bureau to get you on, because you would be a fantastic spokesperson. And what better person to sell Hawaii? Obviously, you love Hawaii, and you have a passion for it, and you'd be perfect for that. I'm going to push you into this career in media.
yeah, I mean, hey, maybe 10 years down the road from now, you can't really, it might happen.
Hey, you never know. You're young and you got a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff ahead of you. So,
After I'm done with my golf career now.
well, I really, really appreciate your time. I wish you a lot of good luck, and we'll be following you throughout the rest of your career.
Thank you. I had fun with the interview. Can't wait for the new year, right?
You got it. Yeah, and Happy New Year to you.
Awesome. All righty.
Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.